What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Bunsa's Bucklers podcast, a show that brings you everything basketball. I am your host, Shea Riley, and I'm once again joined by my brother and co-host, Callahan. Today is a special episode brought to you all the way from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. We are so excited to be here in this beautiful place and introducing you guys to our special guest. Our guest today is amazing mother of five kids, the MVP of our family, aka Mama T, our mother Susan Trobaugh.
Round of applause.
Yay!
Shout out Mama Bear. Mom, thanks for joining us here on this episode. Thanks, Shay. In beautiful Cabo San Lucas. We're currently poolside at the condo we've been staying at for a little bit while we've been here, enjoying our time here in the country. We came out for a close family friend's wedding, and we've been spoiled with perfect weather, as you can see, and amazing food our entire time. It's been awesome being out here. Shout out to the newlyweds, Tosca and Adam. Shay, how about you start us off today, and let's hop right into this interview.
Yeah, thanks. I know I speak for Callie and I both when I say we are so thankful for everything our mom has done for us and our siblings throughout our lives. She has always been there for us, whether it's giving us rides to practices, games, always making sure we had a warm home, cooked meals on the table, and especially putting up with our hurdling behavior. We know we can rely on her for everything we need. First, we wanted to talk about what sports and activities you grew up playing. Then we want to find out more about the challenges of raising five kids. Cal, how about you start us off with the first question we have for mom?
Absolutely, sure, Shay. I'd be honored to. Well, Mom, we know you partook in multiple sports growing up and did a bunch of different activities, swimming, tennis, basketball, to name a few. Tell us a little bit about which ones sparked your interest early on, and maybe you fell in love with these ones over the others, or...
Okay, well, I'm so excited to be here with two of my favorite children in this lovely place, Cabo. It's been wonderful. Well, I grew up in Midland, Texas, and my mom tried to put me in ballet when I was 5, and I cried the whole time. I did not like that. And I went from there to playing sports through the YMCA. I played softball, basketball, tennis, you name it. And my best friend was a really good tennis player, so I'd like to play a lot of tennis with her. Never played it as a school sport, but I always played basketball every day in my driveway for hours at a time. But my backboard was that big.
She played on the
So
old school
you
ones.
had to be a really good shot, and it made me a really precision shooter. So I would play my driveway with my friend for hours, and I would just play tennis and swimming just for fun on the side. But basketball was my absolute love,
Yeah.
and I played all through up to high school to my senior year. Loved it. Never got
But
tired
you
of
see
it.
where we got the bug from, that's for sure.
Yep.
Shay?
We know you played basketball all the way through high school. Did you have any injuries during your playing career? How did you think those affected you?
Well, that's funny you should ask that question because I didn't have any injuries per se, but when I was in high school, my coach would pull me off the court and say, what's wrong with you? I'm like, why are you pulling me off? And she'd say, you're limping. And I'm like, I'm not hurt. Like, I'm not limping. And we'd get in this big argument because I was mad because I was off the court. So anyway, long story short, years later, 2017, 5 years ago, I found out that my right leg, both the bones are much shorter than the bones in my left leg, which is why I limped. But I didn't know that.
So you had an injury. You
I
just
had
didn't
an
know it.
injury that I was born with, but I didn't know it. But it didn't stop me from doing any athletic pursuit ever
Definitely not.
until I got older.
Right, right.
Right.
Like you said, as you get older, you started having kids and you got out of, organized sports per se, but you always found a way to continue to be active.
Yes.
As if taking care of 5 kids wasn't
Wasn't
enough
enough.
work already. Talk to us about your time training for triathlons and what kind of a mental battle competing in a competition like that can be.
That's such a good question, because for me, there was no mental battle. It was a break from taking care of 5 kids. That was my
That was
break.
your
That
escape.
was my escape. And I started doing them after I had Liam, who's my 4th child. And I actually had the same nurse for Callaghan than I had Liam 5 days less than a year later, and had the same nurse. And she said, "I'm not going to see you in here next year." I said, "No, I'm going to start doing triathlons." So
Plus,
I
you had
started.
Liam around, so you're like, I need to get out the house a little more.
So my very good best friend Kasha, who's very athletic too, she's like, "Look, if you teach me how to swim, I'll do them with you." So I taught her how to swim, and we trained together. It was something, like I said, it was escape from the children. I got up every morning and swam from 5:30 to 7. Came back home. Abby was the only one of school age at that time. I would take the 3 boys and throw them in the daycare at Goals and take a spinning class and run on the treadmill. So it was just an adrenaline high all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, it honestly helped me get through raising the kids, like that.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, 'cause you need that escape.
Yeah.
You can't get away from us ever.
And
so.
and being competitive, it was the perfect escape
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to challenge yourself and your
Yeah.
body. And
So
all
the
that.
same thing that I do, so I look at raising kids the same way. It's like a challenge, and
Yeah,
a challenge
absolutely.
accepted, and I did
Right
it
there
pretty
for
darn
it.
good.
You did your thing. So so growing up, each one of us kids, we kind of took after you. We played all the sports
Yep.
we could. I think all of us played multiple sports at any given time, whether it's basketball, football, soccer, track, swimming, karate. I'm sure I'm forgetting some of the activities, but I remember only one occasion my entire life that I missed any practice or a game,
Right.
not being sick. And that wasn't you picking me up. Dad was supposed to pick me up that day for soccer practice. I'll never forget that.
That
But
didn't-
somehow you found a way, balancing all that. Talk to us about what it was like trying to juggle all of our
Yeah.
different schedules and making time for everyone to get where they needed to be and be in the right spot.
Well, the first thing you do is you make friends with the other moms on the team,
Carpool.
and you always offer to give other kids rides, because you're going to need that someday yourself. And I just started doing that when the kids were little, and we had a lot of conflict in schedule, because Abby was, of course, playing just soccer mostly, and then
Yeah.
the boys were playing multiple sports. But I would always make sure Callahan and Liam could be on the same team, so that was helpful.
Yeah.
Even I had to fight certain leagues that would fight me on it. I said, no, they're going to be on the same team.
Yeah.
Liam will play up a year,
Yeah.
because this is not going to work for me otherwise. But it was a juggle, but I loved it. Since I was so into sports, it was like
Yeah.
it was so important for me that y'all were involved in
Yeah.
sports, because I knew it would always be a good outlet for
Absolutely.
you. So
Yeah, and like you said, it's
yeah,
it takes a village to raise, and like you said, you make
Yeah.
friends who can give rides. You give one,
You
it's going to
give
come back
rides,
around.
yep.
So you definitely want to do that.
Yep.
That's awesome. Shay?
On top of everything you had on your plate, you always volunteered to be the team mom or momager for our teams, booking hotels, flights, car rentals, or even signing up us for tournaments, and especially doing the laundry in between games. What was the hardest part about being a team mom?
the hardest part would be like when we would go to big tournaments like Las Vegas, and trying to herd a bunch of teenage boys in Las Vegas to make sure there's no
They got
shenanigans.
Everything they can to
Yeah,
get into.
yeah,
Shouldn't
when
be.
it's everywhere. Yeah, exactly. That was the hardest part. And then I honestly, it was like the same thing as raising the 5 kids. It's just an extension of it. You've got 11 or 12 other kids you're responsible for. But I love that job. So I mean, it was difficult, but it was fun.
Yeah.
So. And I think I always felt the players always respected me, so I got a lot of respect back from them,
Absolutely.
and they would listen to me.
Yeah.
So it
That's
worked.
also rewarding.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
reward. Yeah, exactly.
All right, that's all we have for our interview for today. But before we sign off for the day, it is time for our new segment, the Bunsa's Bucket List. Today, I want to pick our top 5 travel destinations. Cal, why don't you start us off?
Another great question, Shay. I'd be happy to lead us off. This was an extremely hard one to narrow down to just 5, so I kind of cheated, and you'll see later how I did that. But here are my top 5 destinations as of right now. So number one I have on the list is Poland. I don't necessarily want to go to Poland for the country. No disrespect to Poland. I've never been there. I'm sure I'm going to have a great time. But Liam, our younger brother, is playing professional basketball over there. And I've been saying for 5 years I'm going to go visit him. So this is the year I'm going to go see him out in Poland. So can't wait for that. Next one I have on my list is Alaska. I missed the Alaska trip with the rest of the family that they went on earlier this year. And I saw all the pictures and everything. And it's always been somewhere I wanted to go, just to take in the nature and the wildlife and all that stuff. And it's definitely on my list. Next up, I have Hawaii. Jurassic Park was filmed there. I don't need to say much more. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. I would love to go take in the culture there and just get that fresh seafood and experience that. And then next, I have Australia, the land down under. I think there's just so many different types of animals that I don't even get to experience here on this side of the world. That I would love to go over there and experience. Maybe do a little backpacking through there. That would be awesome. And then here's how I'm cheating. My fifth is going to be any national park. I'm itching to get back out backpacking, so that's on my list. I gotta hit those up and get as many as I can as soon as possible. Shay, what about you? Where are you headed for your top five?
For my top five, I'm going to have to go with Poland as my first option. Not only are brothers there, but to really experience that uh, country and culture at the same time. Is like is my right now up there is, well, for me it's great weather. Not really great weather for our brother, but for me I'm huge into freezing cold. So, and it's snowing up there. So that's my first pick. My next pick is gonna be Hawaii. Um,
Y'all can go together.
Yeah, I was about to say, sounds like we can
Yeah.
take the first.
Maybe we can all go.
yeah. I mean, I really want to go up there to see that big volcano and just experience that whole culture up there and uh, see the Hawaiian fire dancers again that we just did last night. Uh, and my third pick is gonna have to be Greece. Again, our brother did play in Greece, and the way he was telling us is like, just everything was just awesome. The beach was just like he was there every day, and seeing pictures of Greece just reminds me of just great views, great culture, and even Giannis is from there, so that's really awesome. My fourth pick is going to be Rome, Italy. I've never been to Italy, and I want to, well, obviously, it's Italy. I want an experience of having real Italian food up in Rome and the culture as well, but yeah, so that's my fourth pick. And my final pick of my top five destinations is going to be London. Again, I've never been up there. I did have a friend that played there for a tournament for a couple of weeks up in London. So, and the way he was telling me was like, dude, like, it's awesome. He saw the Eiffel Tower, Buckingham Palace,
Big Ben.
uh, Big Ben, as our mom just said, and I think it's time for me to go and experience that myself. So, and that's definitely gonna happen this year. Mom, why don't you cap us off with your list of destinations?
Okay. So my number one is Italy. While I have been there several times, it is by far my favorite place I've ever been so far. The food's fantastic. The people are fantastic. I could go there every year and never get tired of it. There's so much to see.
Yeah.
And then I've never been to Spain. I've always wanted to go to Spain. Again, great food, great people. And then Zimbabwe. I chose Zimbabwe. I've never been anywhere in Africa. I've always just been enamored with Zimbabwe. I think the culture, the people, it just seems amazing. So I really want to get there. That's high on, I put it 3, but it's high.
Yeah.
And then the Maldives, my husband and I have looked at some incredible, those thatch roof resorts out on the water. I want to do that. It's in the Indian Ocean. And then Thailand. I've never been there. Again, I love Thai food. So
Summer, immerse yourself in a fully different
yeah, a
language.
whole different
and-
culture that I haven't
Yeah.
experienced. So those are my top 5 at the moment.
All right.
So
There's the bucket list for the day. Jay?
Well, that's all we have for today's episode of the Bunsa's Bucket List Podcast. Thanks to our mom for doing us today, and to everyone for joining us and showing your support. We hope you enjoyed episode 9 from here in Mexico.
Yeah, again, thank you, Mom, for joining us. We had a blast out here, and hope you guys enjoyed the episode. You already know. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, YouTube at Bunsa's Bucket List. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys back in the States.
woohoo! Got it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Got it. You gonna leave Mama hanging, bro?